All right. What advice would you guys give to current high school students about college?
One thing I would say is to try to build really strong relationships with your professors. I'm a senior and I'm graduating in May. I'm transitioning out of college and into the real world, and I wish that I had built stronger relationships with college professors. Because when it comes time for advice or letters of recommendation, it would have been nice to have those relationships to fall back on.
And I would say to keep up with because at times academics can be so overwhelming, and all of a sudden you have 3 essays and 4 tests in 1 week. One thing I would say is, it sounds so cheesy, but to plan out your semester, so you can think okay, this semester or this week specifically is going to be a little bit harder, but then the weekend before I'll put little bits of information together, so when it comes to going into a week of 4 exams, you're okay, I kind of got a better hold of it. Is what helps me, I think.
And I would say that don't be afraid to ask for help from your professors, from your TAs, from your advisors. Always ask if you have questions, because it's much better to find out something that's going to help you than to keep going along and not know what you're doing.
I would say just to get out there and get out of your comfort zone. College, the academic part of college is very important, but it's also very important to also get involved with things you're interested in and where you see yourself growing as a person. So the academic side of college is also very important, but it's also very important to get involved and truly start exploring your interests, so you can start thinking of what you want to do further ahead.
One thing that I think of that's really important is being persistent, and this can start before your first day of classes in college. For example, if you need more financial aid than you're offered the first time, you can call and ask, and a lot of times that will be enough to get yourself a little bit more. Or if you need help in a class, be persistent. Ask many times, ask many people. They're there to help you, that's their job.
I have 2 key words. What, why, and how. What do you want to do? If you want to be a doctor, say to yourself, is that realistic? Why do you want to do that? Say, is that motivation to, for instance, help people or to make money? And say, is that motivation really going to last over a lifetime? And how? Try to learn from student leaders on campus, learn their best practices, and then you can adopt those best practices. Think about the most successful people on campus. Try to have lunch with them and talk to them, see how they became successful.
Okay, I would say time management is important, because there are a lot of things you can do in college. You have to take the class and you have many groups you can attend, but you will think about what is most important for you, and you will manage your time and to go through it, and you will be successful.
And that's really intimidating.
I'd say study habits is your key. Figure out what kind of learner you are and what works best for you now while you're in high school. When you get to college, you can come out the gate with a set plan on what you need to do to enhance your learning experience to the best of your ability.
Yeah. Personally, I would say that college can be really tough, and I think the best thing you could do to prepare for it is to take as many advanced placement courses, pre-AP, and that would be the best way you can prepare for it.
I've got something. Okay, so my biggest piece of advice would be careful / be smart about who you surround yourself with, even in high school and in college, because if you're in a program like Foundation for Choice and you're working really hard on your academics, but you go and you hang out with people that are not going anywhere, that don't have any ambitions of going to college, and don't want to be successful in life, then they're going to bring you down. So just make sure with people that are always going to uplift you, in your academic life, in your personal life, and that are going to put out good energy and that are going to believe in you and help you be the best that you could possibly be.
Well,
I have two words. Yeah, motivation and communication. You know, one thing, being in college, you have to be really willing to do it. You have to be motivated. If you have the motivation, that can impact your decision making, and that can help you to decide what is best for you. And secondly is communication. You have to be able to communicate with people, like talk to your professors, talk to your friends, you know, see what advice they have for you, see what advice your professors can give you, and that will help you greatly to succeed in college.
I'd say one thing that's hard, or I found harder in college, was going to class, and like that's a little thing, but it counts so much because you can fall behind really easily, and it can be really easy to just not do the homework when it's not mandatory, when you're not turning something in. But if you have those skills and you're still doing that, and those little things that you do in college can actually help make a big difference in your grades and just how you master the material as well.
One thing that I really like taking advantage of in college is like the work study and the fact that so many programs in the area want college undergraduate students, so you can start building connections and start building your interests. So that's definitely something to look into because there are a lot of part-time jobs that you can do while you're studying.
I really encourage students to look for upperclassmen or students a little bit older than them that they can learn from and emulate. I remember being a freshman and really connecting with my RA, someone who's a year older than me, and learning a lot from her over that next couple of years. So whether maybe it's a friend in class or someone else who's in your dorm, like look for those people who you admire or have good study habits or are just trying new things. And really take time to learn from them because in some ways they will also be a peer mentor to you.
One of the things that I would say is definitely improving on what others have said about study habits. You want to stay ahead of what you're learning in class. You should be reading ahead on your textbook or trying to recap what you learned in class. This way it's much easier to study for your exams, and as long as you can keep up with what you're doing in school and make sure you're actually paying attention in class and stuff, you'll probably do fine in college.
Okay. Yeah. And so
what advice do you guys have to students who have, for whatever reason, gotten behind in their studies? How can you make up for that?
Well,
or is it just a lost cause?
One thing to make up for that, you know, like I always advise, you know, people when you miss class, try to have that one friend in class that you always connect with. You know, so like if you miss a lecture, you can find that friend that can always give you back the lecture. And then always it's good, if you're gonna miss a class, always try to read ahead. You know, because when you read ahead and then you know that, okay, I'll miss class today, but still I have the understanding. And then thirdly, you can always go back to your professor. Try to talk to your professor and ask him what happened in class today. Email them, try to talk to them, build communication with them. That would be a good way to make up for the classes that you missed.
What mistakes do you think are common in the first semester of college?
I made, like, not a big mistake, but I went into college, like, kind of like on a one-track mind, like, all right, I want to major in this, I want to